Welcome to your personalized deep dive. Today we're going to be, exploring the world of habit formation, specifically like how to cultivate those positive behaviors. The ones that we all want more of in our lives. You shared with us cultivating habits.
Yeah, a fascinating guide that really dives into the power of these good habits. And not just uh, as like a means to an end, but as a foundation for, a more fulfilling life.
Oh, so it's not just about like achieving a specific goal, like
Yeah.
running a marathon or something, but it's about like creating a lifestyle where these good habits become like second nature.
Exactly. It emphasizes that these good habits can kind of guide us through, well, both challenging and joyful times, almost like having like an inner compass.
I like that analogy. But what specifically does this inner compass help us with? I mean, like, does the book get into the nitty-gritty of how these habits actually like improve our lives?
Well, absolutely. One of the key points that it makes is that good habits can help us manage our daily activities more effectively. Like, for example, it suggests using a technique called time blocking, where you allocate specific time slots for different tasks, almost like creating a personal schedule for your day.
Oh, interesting. So instead of just saying like be more organized, it gives you, like a concrete strategy to try.
Precisely. And it doesn't stop there. Um, the book also highlights the link between good habits and a more positive mindset. It argues that by incorporating practices like gratitude into our daily routine, we can shift our perspective and start noticing the good things, even when life throws us curveballs.
Hmm. I've heard about the power of gratitude, but I've always been a bit skeptical. I mean, does the book explain how it actually works?
It does. It suggests that consistently focusing on what we're grateful for can actually like rewire our brains over time, making us more receptive to positive experiences.
Oh, so it's not just about feeling good in the moment, but it's about like creating lasting change in how we perceive the world.
Exactly. And this kind of ties into another benefit the book highlights, which is um, increased energy and overall well-being.
I am all for more energy. I think most of us could use a boost in that department. But how do good habits actually translate into more pep in our step?
Well, think about it this way. If you're constantly stressed, disorganized, and running on empty, it's going to drain your energy. Yeah. But if you have these good habits in place, like a healthy diet, regular exercise, a good sleep routine, you're giving your body and mind the fuel they need to actually thrive.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like creating this positive feedback loop where good habits lead to more energy, which makes it easier to stick with those habits. So it sounds like the book provides a pretty comprehensive starter pack for those of us looking to cultivate good habits.
It does. It recommends some classics like keeping a consistent schedule, eating a healthy diet, and exercising regularly. These are like the cornerstones, the habits that can have a ripple effect across many areas of our lives.
I'm curious, though, does it dive into the why behind those recommendations? I mean, we all know that we should do those things, but sometimes we need a little extra motivation to actually follow through.
That's a great point, and the book definitely addresses that. Take keeping a good schedule, for example.
Mhm.
It's not just about being punctual. It's about reducing stress and creating a sense of order in your day. When you have a predictable routine, your mind and body kind of know what to expect, which can free up mental energy for other things.
That's so true. I know when my schedule is all over the place, I feel so scattered and less productive. So it sounds like the book emphasizes being intentional with our time and energy.
Absolutely. And that intentionality extends to other habits as well. For instance, the book talks about the importance of fueling our bodies with nutritious food. It's not about deprivation or strict diets. It's about understanding how the food we eat impacts our physical and mental well-being.
So it's about making conscious choices that support our overall health and vitality.
Exactly. And exercise, as you might guess, plays a crucial role as well. The book highlights its benefits, beyond just physical fitness. Things like improved mood, increased cognitive function, and reduced stress.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good, both mentally and physically. I'm sensing a theme here. It seems like the book emphasizes a holistic approach to well-being.
You're spot on. And to kind of round out this starter pack, the book emphasizes the practice of gratitude. I know we touched on this earlier, but it's worth reiterating just how powerful this habit can be.
You mentioned it can actually rewire our brains. Is there more to it than that?
There is. The book explains that by focusing on what we're grateful for, we shift our attention away from negativity and scarcity. It's about training ourselves to see the abundance in our lives,
Yeah.
even amidst, challenges.
That's a powerful shift in perspective. It's so easy to get caught up in what's wrong or what we're lacking, but gratitude helps us appreciate what we already have.
Exactly. And it's not just about, feeling good. Gratitude has been linked to tangible benefits like improved sleep, reduced stress,
Yeah.
even stronger relationships.
Okay, I'm officially sold on the gratitude bandwagon. I'm seeing how these seemingly simple habits can have such a profound impact on our lives. And I'm curious about something else the book mentioned, the idea of setting a good example.
Yes. The book emphasizes that our actions and behaviors can have this ripple effect on those around us. By embodying good habits, we can inspire others to do the same.
So it's not just about self-improvement, it's about making a positive impact on our communities and relationships.
Precisely. And the book doesn't just throw out these vague notions of, being good.
Hmm.
It gets specific about the behaviors that contribute to setting a good example.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of those specific behaviors?
One of the key points is, being likable and positive. It sounds simple, but think about the people you enjoy being around. They're usually the ones who radiate warmth and optimism.
That's true. Their energy is contagious. I'm guessing the book doesn't advocate for putting on a fake smile 24/7, though.
Not at all. It's about cultivating genuine positivity and letting that shine through in our interactions with others.
That makes sense. What other behaviors does the book suggest?
It also emphasizes behaving in a mature yet friendly manner. It's
Yeah.
about striking a balance between being, responsible and approachable, someone who others can trust and rely on, but who also brings a sense of warmth and lightheartedness to the table.
That's a great point. It's about finding that sweet spot between professionalism and approachability.
Exactly. And naturally, the book emphasizes the importance of striving to be and do one's best.
I imagine this goes beyond just like work or school. It's about bringing that dedication and effort to all aspects of our lives.
Absolutely. It's about having a growth mindset and, always seeking to improve, whether it's honing a skill, deepening a relationship, or simply learning something new.
I like that. It's about embracing the journey of continuous improvement. Are there any other behaviors that the book highlights for setting a good example?
Yes, it specifically mentions being a supportive friend, especially in times of need.
That's a quality I really value in others. It's about showing up for people when they're going through those tough times, offering a listening ear or a helping hand.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating empathy and compassion and letting people know that they're not alone.
I'm curious, does the book touch on how to set a good example when we ourselves are struggling or making mistakes?
It does. It highlights the importance of acknowledging our own shortcomings and flaws.
That's so important. Nobody's perfect, and admitting our imperfections makes us more relatable and approachable.
It also models a healthy approach to personal growth. It shows that we're all works in progress and that it's okay to ask for help or admit when we've messed up.
That's such a refreshing perspective. It takes the pressure off needing to be perfect all the time.
Right. And in addition to acknowledging our flaws, the book suggests maintaining a relaxed and non-threatening demeanor.
That resonates with me. I think people are more receptive to learning and growing when they feel safe and accepted.
Absolutely. It creates an environment where it's okay to be vulnerable and make mistakes.
Are there any other behaviors the book recommends for setting a good example?
Yes, the final one is being welcoming and non-judgmental.
That's a big one. It's about creating a space where people feel seen, heard, and respected, regardless of, you know, their background or beliefs.
Exactly. It's about fostering a sense of inclusivity and understanding.
This is giving me a lot to think about. I appreciate how the book provides these concrete examples of behaviors that contribute to setting a good example. It's not just about being good in like a vague sense. It's about actively cultivating these positive qualities in our interactions with others.
Precisely. And speaking of clarity and intention, the book also dives into the importance of setting clear expectations. In any relationship or endeavor.
Oh, that's a topic I can definitely relate to. I've been in so many situations where unclear expectations led to a lot of confusion and frustration.
It happens to the best of us. And the book makes a really compelling case for why setting clear expectations from the outset is so crucial.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Why is it so important to establish those ground rules up front?
Well, for starters, it helps to minimize potential conflicts and misunderstandings down the road. When everyone's on the same page about what's expected, there's less room for misinterpretation or unmet expectations.
That makes sense. It's about setting a clear framework for collaboration and communication.
Right. And the book goes beyond just preventing conflicts. It argues that setting clear expectations can actually make the whole process more efficient and successful.
Okay, I'm curious to hear more about that. How do clear expectations contribute to efficiency and success?
Well, one of the key points the book makes is that it allows everyone involved to decide whether they truly want to participate. When expectations are clearly laid out, people can make an informed decision about whether they have the time, the resources, and the motivation to commit.
That's a great point. It's about respecting people's agency and ensuring that everyone's on board before, diving into a project or relationship.
Exactly. And this leads to another advantage, creating a shared understanding of what's expected and how each person can contribute.
Okay, I see how that could lead to a more cohesive and productive team.
It's about fostering a sense of shared ownership and responsibility. And when everyone knows what they're working towards, it's easier to stay focused and motivated.
I like that. It's about creating a clear roadmap for collaboration and success.
Right. And the book also points out that setting clear expectations provides a benchmark for measuring progress and ensuring that the work is up to par.
So it's about accountability and quality control.
Exactly. When there are clear standards in place, it's easier to track progress, identify areas for improvement, and ensure that everyone is contributing at a high level.
I can see how that would be especially beneficial in a team setting. It helps to maintain a level of consistency and excellence.
Absolutely. And another advantage the book highlights is that setting clear expectations can reduce the need for, constant monitoring and micromanaging.
Oh, I love that. It empowers people to take ownership of their work and contributions.
It fosters a culture of trust and autonomy when people know what's expected of them. And they have the freedom to figure out how to achieve those goals. They're more likely to be engaged and productive.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about creating an environment where people feel empowered and trusted to do their best work.
Exactly. And to round out the benefits of setting clear expectations, the book highlights how it can foster a sense of unity and purpose within a group.
I can see that. When everyone is aligned on the goals and expectations, it creates a sense of shared mission and camaraderie.
Right. And it also helps individuals identify the mindset and skills that are needed for success. When you know what you're aiming for, you can start to identify, the gaps in your knowledge or skill set and seek out opportunities for growth and development.
Wow, so setting clear expectations really is a win-win. It benefits both the individual and the group as a whole.
Absolutely. It's a powerful tool for creating a more harmonious and productive environment. Now, shifting gears a bit, I want to talk about one of those unique aspects of this book, which is its approach to teaching good habits through storytelling.
Oh, that's something I've been looking forward to hearing more about. I love how stories can capture our attention and, stay with us long after we've heard them.
Exactly. And the book argues that this makes storytelling a particularly powerful tool for habit formation.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about how this works.
Well, the book explains that stories have this way of making learning more engaging and relatable. It's one thing to be told that, a certain habit is important, but it's another thing entirely to hear a story about how that habit made a real difference in someone's life.
Oh, I can see that. Stories bring those abstract concepts to life. They make them more tangible and meaningful.
Exactly. And this is especially true for children, who are often more receptive to learning through stories than through lectures or rules.
That makes sense. Stories appeal to our natural curiosity and imagination. What kinds of stories does the book use?
It covers a wide range of themes related to good habits, including bravery, charity, commitment, creativity, fair play, humility, obedience, respectfulness, patience, sharing sincerity, and teamwork.
Wow, that's quite a list. It sounds like there's a story for every good habit imaginable.
Pretty much. And the book doesn't just focus on stories for children. It also highlights how stories of real-life successes can be incredibly motivating for adults, even in the workplace.
Interesting. How so?
Well, these stories can inspire creative problem solving and show that even in the face of challenges, success is possible. They demonstrate how good habits can lead to positive outcomes in various aspects of life, whether it's overcoming a personal obstacle, achieving a professional goal, or making a difference in the community.
That's a powerful message. It's about learning from the experiences of others and seeing how good habits can pave the way for a more fulfilling and successful life.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're not alone in our struggles and that there are proven strategies for overcoming them and achieving our goals.
Do you have any specific examples from the book of stories that illustrate the benefits of good habits?
Absolutely. There's one story about a young girl who was incredibly shy and afraid to speak up in class. Well, this girl, despite her shyness, had this deep passion for animals, and she decided to start a school club dedicated to animal welfare.
Wow, that's a pretty bold move for someone who usually avoided the spotlight.
Right. And the book explains how by focusing on something that she really cared about and committing to the club's success, she gradually gained confidence.
That's impressive. So did starting the club help her to overcome her shyness?
It did. Leading the meetings and organizing events helped her to develop these leadership skills, something that she never would have imagined possible before.
That's a great example of how pursuing our passions can push us out of our comfort zones and lead to some unexpected growth. It also ties back to what we were discussing earlier about setting a good example. Even though she may not have realized it at the time, this girl's courage and dedication likely inspired other students.
Absolutely. And it's a perfect illustration of how good habits, like commitment and perseverance, can lead to personal transformation and positive change. It wasn't just about starting a club, it was about developing these valuable life skills that extended far beyond the classroom.
I love that. Okay, so this story highlights the power of, individual habits, but the book also talked about the impact of shared habits, right?
Yeah. It emphasizes how carrying out behaviors together as a group can reinforce positive habits and amplify their impact. Think about it, we're social creatures, and we naturally influence each other's behaviors.
That makes sense. I mean, we've all experienced how being part of a group can motivate us to, push ourselves further or try new things.
Exactly. The book explains how this principle applies to habit formation as well. When we're surrounded by people who are practicing these good habits, it becomes easier for us to, adopt those habits ourselves. It's almost like a positive peer pressure effect.
Oh, so it's about creating an environment where good habits are like the norm. It's not just about willpower, it's about surrounding ourselves with people who support our goals.
Right. And the book goes even deeper into this by pointing out how consistent group actions can create habits that become deeply ingrained in the group's culture.
Interesting. So these shared habits almost become like unwritten rules that guide the group's behavior and contribute to its overall success.
Exactly. And those shared habits can act as this powerful force for achieving common goals. Think about a sports team. Their shared habits of training hard, supporting each other, and striving for excellence all contribute to their collective success.
I see what you mean. It's like everyone is pulling in the same direction, guided by those shared habits and values.
Exactly. The book emphasizes how this principle applies to all sorts of groups, from families and workplaces to communities, and even entire societies.
So the message here is that our habits don't just affect us individually. They have this ripple effect on the people around us. So by consciously cultivating good habits, we can contribute to a more positive and supportive environment for everyone.
That's a great takeaway. And this leads us to another crucial aspect of habit formation that the book emphasizes: the power of repetition.
Okay, this is where I sometimes struggle. I know repetition is important for making habits stick, but it can also feel a bit tedious.
I understand. It's not always the most glamorous part of the process. But the book makes this compelling case for why repetition is so essential. It explains how repetition helps to turn those desired behaviors into automatic responses. Think about it, when you first learn to drive, it requires so much conscious effort and concentration. But with practice, it becomes second nature.
That's a perfect example. I don't even have to think about the mechanics of driving anymore. It's just something I do. So the idea is to apply that same principle to good habits.
Exactly. The book argues that by repeating positive behaviors consistently, we can free up mental space for other things. We no longer have to expend willpower or energy on making those choices. They become a part of who we are.
Okay, I see the benefit there. It's like building those habits so strongly that they become part of our autopilot.
Exactly. And the book addresses the potential boredom of repetition by highlighting its long-term benefits. It explains that repetition helps to instill these vital responses to specific situations, which can be incredibly valuable, especially in those high-pressure environments.
That makes a lot of sense. If we've practiced a certain response over and over again, we're more likely to react effectively when we're faced with, a challenging situation. It's like building muscle memory for our good habits.
Right. The book gives the example of a surgeon who's performed countless operations. Through repetition, their movements become so precise and efficient, which ultimately benefits the patient. And this principle applies to all sorts of fields, from athletes to musicians to entrepreneurs.
So repetition isn't just about mindlessly repeating actions. It's about refining our skills and responses so that we can perform at our best when it matters most.
Exactly. And this leads to another benefit of repetition that the book highlights, which is that it allows us to shorten our response times.
So it's not just about responding correctly, but it's about responding quickly and efficiently.
Exactly. And this applies to individuals as well as teams. The book explains how repetition helps teams to develop smooth and efficient routines, which can be crucial in these fast-paced environments where every second counts.
Oh yeah, I've definitely experienced that in my own work. When everyone knows their roles and responsibilities, and they've practiced those routines, it makes the whole team more productive and less prone to errors.
Exactly. And this ties back to the power of shared habits
Mhm.
that we were discussing earlier. Repetition is key to establishing those shared habits and ensuring that everyone's on the same page.
I'm seeing how all these pieces fit together, the importance of individual habits, the power of shared habits, and the role of repetition in, making those habits stick. It's like a recipe for success.
You've got it. And the book doesn't just leave us with these abstract concepts. It also provides some really practical tips for incorporating these principles into our daily lives.
Okay, I'm all ears. I love actionable advice. What are some of the key takeaways that we can apply to our own habit formation journey?
Well, one of the most important tips the book offers is to focus on positive reinforcement rather than punishment when we're trying to cultivate good habits.
Positive reinforcement instead of punishment. Huh. That's interesting. I mean, it seems intuitive, but I think a lot of us kind of fall into the trap of being so self-critical, when we slip up.
It's definitely a common tendency, but the book argues that we're much more likely to stick with a habit if we associate it with, positive feelings. So instead of beating ourselves up when we miss a workout or, indulge in a sugary treat, we should focus on celebrating those small wins and acknowledging our progress.
Yeah, so it's about being our own cheerleader instead of our own drill sergeant.
Exactly. And this kind of ties back to another practical tip that the book offers, which is to highlight positive examples instead of dwelling on, those negative behaviors.
Right, I see how that fits in. It's about focusing on what we're doing right and using that momentum to, fuel our continued growth.
Precisely. The book uses this analogy of a gardener who focuses on nurturing those healthy plants instead of obsessing over the weeds. By giving our attention to the positive, we create an environment where good habits can flourish.
I love that analogy. I'm really starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The psychology of habit formation, the power of storytelling, the importance of shared habits and repetition, and, these practical tips for creating a supportive environment for growth. This has really given me a new perspective on how to approach my own habits.
That's fantastic to hear. And it's a testament to the book's, really comprehensive approach to habit formation. It's not just a collection of quick tips. It's a deep dive into those underlying principles that drive lasting change.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into cultivating habits, what are some of those key takeaways that stand out to you?
Well, for me, it's the emphasis on the interconnectedness of our habits. It's not just about these isolated behaviors. It's about creating like a web of positive habits that support each other and, contribute to our overall well-being.
I love that. It's about creating a lifestyle where those good habits become the norm rather than, the exception.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that our habits have this ripple effect on, those around us. By cultivating good habits, we not only improve our own lives, but we can also inspire and support those around us.
Right. And that collective energy can be so powerful, especially when we're all striving for that positive change.
It's a good reminder that we're not alone on this journey. We can learn from each other, support each other, and celebrate each other's successes.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive for today. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
Yeah, we encourage you to, revisit the concepts that we've discussed, explore the book further, and most importantly, start putting these ideas into practice.
And to help you get started, we'd like to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What one small habit could you cultivate today that would make a positive impact on your life?
It doesn't have to be this huge change. Even a small step in the right direction can make a big difference over time.
So think about it, choose your habit, and commit to making it a part of your daily routine. And we're confident you'll be amazed by the transformative power of even the smallest, most consistent actions.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep cultivating those good habits.